You know that tiny drip under your sink you keep meaning to fix? Or that slow drain you just ignore? These small annoyances can turn into full-blown disasters that cost you tens of thousands of dollars. After 3 decades as a professional plumber, I have seen homeowners make the same dangerous mistakes over and over again. Today, I am sharing the 10 most dangerous plumbing mistakes you must never make. And stick around for mistake number 8, plus a bonus tip at the end that could save your home from serious damage. The first mistake on our list is ignoring small leaks. This is hands down the most common and most costly error I see homeowners make. That little drip under the bathroom sink or that tiny wet spot on the ceiling seems harmless enough. You tell yourself you will get to it next weekend. Then next weekend turns into next month. And before you know it, you have got a serious problem on your hands. Here is what happens when you ignore a small leak. Water is persistent and patient. Even a slow drip that loses just 1 drop per second adds up to over 3,000 gallons of wasted water per year. But the real danger is not your water bill. It is what that moisture is doing behind your walls, under your floors, and inside your cabinets. Mold can start growing within 24 to 48 hours of moisture exposure. Once mold takes hold in your home, you're looking at remediation costs anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on how far it has spread. I have seen families forced to move out of their homes for weeks during mold removal. The fix for most small leaks costs under $100 if you catch them early. So make it a habit to check under every sink in your home once a month. Look for any signs of moisture, discoloration, or that musty smell that tells you water is hiding somewhere it should not be. The second mistake that destroys plumbing systems is using the wrong pipe materials together. This one catches a lot of DIYers off guard because it seems logical that you should be able to connect any 2 pipes as long as the sizes match. Unfortunately, plumbing does not work that way. When you connect 2 different metals directly together, you create something called galvanic corrosion. This is an electrochemical reaction that happens when dissimilar metals touch in the presence of water. The most common example I see is copper pipes connected directly to galvanized steel pipes. Over time, the connection point corrodes and deteriorates from the inside out. You will not see it happening until one day you have got a major leak or a complete pipe failure. The same thing happens when you connect copper directly to brass fittings that contain high amounts of zinc, or when aluminum components touch steel. The solution is simple but absolutely critical. Always use dielectric unions or approved transition fittings when joining different metals. These fittings contain a plastic sleeve or washer that prevents the 2 metals from touching directly. They cost just a few dollars at any hardware store, and they will save you thousands in potential damage. If you are ever unsure whether 2 materials can be joined directly, look it up or ask at your local plumbing supply house. This is not an area where guessing is acceptable. The third mistake I need to warn you about is over-tightening connections. I completely understand the instinct here. When you are making a plumbing connection, your brain tells you that tighter means more secure and less likely to leak. But in plumbing, over-tightening causes more leaks than under-tightening ever will. Here is why this happens. Most plumbing fittings are made from brass, plastic, or porcelain. These materials are strong under normal use, but they can crack when you apply too much torque. The dangerous part is that the crack might not leak immediately. You finish your project, pat yourself on the back, and everything looks great. Then 2 weeks later, or 2 months later, that stressed fitting finally gives way. Toilet supply lines are notorious for this. Those plastic or brass nuts that connect to the fill valve and the shutoff valve only need to be hand tight plus about a quarter turn with pliers. The same goes for compression fittings on water supply lines. When you feel resistance, stop. Give it just a small additional turn to snug it up. And that is enough. For threaded connections, a good rule of thumb is 3 to 4 full rotations past hand tight. If you have to strain or use a long wrench for extra leverage, you have gone too far. The threads and the sealant do the work, not brute force. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more homeowners like yourself, who would also find this information helpful. All right, let's continue. The fourth mistake on our list is pouring grease down the drain. I know it is tempting. You have just finished cooking bacon or frying chicken, and that pan full of hot grease needs to go somewhere. The drain is right there, and running hot water while you pour seems like it should wash everything away. But here is the reality of what happens inside your pipes. That grease might be liquid when it is hot, but it does not stay hot for long. As it travels through your drain pipes, it cools and solidifies. It sticks to the inside walls of your pipes like plaque in an artery. Every time you pour more grease, the buildup gets thicker. Eventually, other debris starts catching on that greasy coating. Food particles, soap residue, and hair all get trapped. Before long, you have got a stubborn clog that no amount of hot water will fix. But the real nightmare happens further down the line in your main sewer pipe. These grease blockages combine with debris from your entire house and can create what plumbers call fatbergs. I have seen sewer lines completely blocked by solidified grease and waste, and clearing them out costs anywhere from $300 for a simple snaking tube, $10,000 or more if the line needs to be excavated and replaced. The right way to dispose of cooking grease is to let it cool and solidify, then scrape it into your trash. For larger amounts, pour it into an old can or jar, seal it, and throw it away. The fifth mistake that causes serious damage is using chemical drain cleaners regularly. When your drain starts running slow, it is easy to grab a bottle of drain cleaner from under the sink and pour it down. The clog clears, the water flows again, and you move on with your day. But every time you use those harsh chemicals, you are damaging your pipes from the inside. Most chemical drain cleaners work by creating an intense chemical reaction that generates heat. This heat is what dissolves the clog, but it also affects your pipes. PVC pipes can soften and warp. Older metal pipes can corrode. The glue, joints that hold your drain system together, can weaken and fail. I have cut open pipes from homes where the owners used chemical cleaners frequently, and the inside walls were pitted and thinned to the point of failure. These chemicals are also extremely dangerous to you and your family. Splashes can cause severe burns to skin and eyes. The fumes are toxic, and if you have a septic system, Chemical cleaners kill the beneficial bacteria that break down waste, leading to system failure. Instead of reaching for chemicals, invest in a good plunger and a drain snake. For bathroom drains, a simple plastic hair removal tool costs about $3 and pulls out clogs in seconds. For kitchen sinks, regular flushing with very hot water and dish soap helps prevent buildup. If you have a stubborn clog, call a plumber to snake the line properly. The sixth mistake that puts your home at serious risk is not knowing where your main water shutoff valve is located. This might sound basic, but I cannot tell you how many emergency calls I have responded to where the homeowner was frantically searching for the shutoff while water was gushing everywhere. When a pipe bursts or a fitting fails, you have seconds to act, not minutes. Every moment that water keeps flowing means more damage to your floors, walls, ceilings, and belongings. A burst supply line can release several gallons of water per minute. In the time it takes you to search your basement or crawl space for the shutoff, you could be looking at thousands of dollars in water damage. Your main shutoff valve is typically located where the water line enters your home. In warmer climates, this might be outside near the front of your house. In colder regions, it is usually in the basement or crawl space on the street-facing side of your home. Some homes also have a shutoff at the meter near the street, but this often requires a special tool to operate. Right now, today, go find your main shutoff valve. Make sure it turns freely and accurately stops the water flow. If the valve is old and stiff, have a plumber replace it before you need it in an emergency. I also recommend labeling it clearly so that anyone in your household can find it quickly. While you are at it, locate the individual shutoff valves for each toilet, sink, and appliance. Knowing exactly where these are and how to operate them could save your home from catastrophic damage. The seventh mistake on our list is improper venting. Most homeowners focus on the pipes that carry water and waste, but the vent pipes in your plumbing system are equally important. Vents allow air into the drain system, which is necessary for water to flow properly and for sewer gases to escape safely outside your home. When drains are not vented correctly, you will notice some telltale signs. Drains will gurgle when water goes down. Sinks and tubs will drain slowly even when there is no clog. You might smell sewer gas inside your home, especially after running water. That rotten egg odor is not just unpleasant. It can actually be dangerous because sewer gas contains methane and hydrogen sulfide. I see improper venting most often in DIY bathroom additions or basement remodels. Homeowners add a new sink or toilet without connecting it to the vent system, or they run the vent incorrectly and it does not function. Every fixture in your home needs to be connected to a vent that terminates above your roof line. The codes specify exact distances between the fixture trap and the vent connection, usually within 5 feet for most fixtures. If you are adding any new plumbing to your home, this is one area where you absolutely need to follow local codes and get permits. An inspector will check that your venting is correct before signing off on the work. If you already have symptoms of poor venting, have a plumber evaluate your system. Adding an air admittance valve, sometimes called a cheater vent, might solve the problem in some situations, but proper vent connection is always the better solution. The eighth mistake that catches homeowners by surprise is leaving hoses connected in winter. This one is easy to overlook. because the damage does not happen while you are watching. You finish your fall yard work, roll up the hose, and forget about that outdoor faucet until spring. But if you left the hose connected, you might be in for an expensive surprise. Here is why this matters. When a hose stays connected to an outdoor faucet, water remains trapped in the faucet and the pipe leading to it. Even frost-free faucets, which are designed to drain themselves, cannot drain properly if a hose is blocking the outlet. When that trapped water freezes, it expands with tremendous force. The pipe or faucet body cracks, but you will not know it until the ice thaws. That is when water starts flowing into your wall, and by the time you notice, you could have serious damage. I have seen burst pipes from frozen outdoor faucets cause damage, ranging from $1,000 to $15,000, depending on where the break occurred and how long it went unnoticed. The prevention is simple. Before the first freeze, disconnect all garden hoses and drain them for storage. Close the interior shutoff valve that feeds each outdoor faucet if your home has them. Then open the outdoor faucet to let any remaining water drain out. If you have frost-free faucets without interior shutoffs, simply removing the hose is usually enough. But double-check that the faucet is pitched slightly downward, so water drains out rather than sitting in the valve body. The ninth mistake I see homeowners make is using too much thread tape or pipe dope. When you are sealing threaded plumbing connections, it seems logical that more sealant would mean a better seal. In reality, using too much thread tape or pipe dope causes more problems than it solves. Thread tape, also called Teflon tape or PTFE tape, is meant to fill the tiny gaps between pipe threads and provide lubrication so you can tighten the connection properly. You only need 2 to 3 wraps around the male threads, applied in the direction of the threads so it does not bunch up when you screw the fitting on. When you use too much tape, several things can go wrong. The excess tape can bunch up and actually prevent the fitting from seating correctly, causing leaks. Pieces of tape can break off inside the pipe and travel through your system, clogging aerators, valve seats, and small openings in fixtures. I have cleared many faucet aerators and filled valve screens that were plugged with tape fragments. The same principles apply to pipe dope, which is the paste form of thread sealant. A thin, even coat on the male threads is all you need. Globs of excess dope can squeeze into the pipe and cause blockages downstream. It can also make the fitting feel tight before it is actually seated properly, leading to cross-threaded connections that will leak. Always apply sealant only to the male threads, never the female threads. This keeps excess material from being pushed into the pipe as you make the connection. The 10th and final mistake on our list is joining PVC with the wrong cement. PVC cement is not just glue. It is a solvent that accurately melts the surfaces of the pipe and fitting together, creating a chemical weld. Using the wrong type of cement means that weld never forms correctly, and the joint will eventually fail. Here is where people get into trouble. There are different cements for different types of plastic pipe, and they are not interchangeable. PVC cement is for PVC pipe only. CPVC cement is for CPVC pipe only. ABS cement is for ABS pipe only. Using PVC cement on CPVC pipe, for example, will create a joint that looks solid but has not actually bonded. It might hold for a while, but it will fail under pressure or over time. I have seen joints made with the wrong cement pull apart completely with just hand pressure. Another common error is using cement that has thickened or expired. Fresh PVC cement has a consistency similar to thin syrup. If it has gotten thick or stringy, it will not bond properly. Always check the expiration date on the can and store your cement with the lid tightly sealed. Temperature matters too. Most cements should not be used in temperatures below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The primer is just as important as the cement. For PVC and CPVC, you need to apply primer first to clean and soften the surfaces before applying cement. Skipping the primer is a code violation in most areas and results in weaker joints that are more likely to fail. And now for the bonus tip that professional plumbers swear by. This one simple habit can prevent nearly half of the emergency calls I respond to each year. Once a month, take 5 minutes to do a plumbing walkthrough of your entire home. Start in the basement or crawl space and look at every visible pipe for signs of moisture, corrosion, or mineral buildup. Check under every sink and around every toilet for dampness or water stains. Look at your water heater for any rust or puddles at the base. Test each shutoff valve by turning it clockwise until it stops, then back open. Feel the supply lines to your toilets and washing machine. If they are the old rubber style, replace them with braided stainless steel lines immediately because rubber lines fail without warning. This 5-minute investment pays off tremendously. You will catch small problems before they become disasters. You will know exactly where every shutoff valve is located, and you will become familiar with what your plumbing looks like when everything is working correctly, which makes it much easier to spot when something changes. I tell every homeowner the same thing. The plumbing in your walls and floors is out of sight, but it should never be out of mind. A little attention each month keeps the big emergencies from ever happening. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more DIY plumbing tips, and check out our other videos.